welcome back to the Yes You Pod.
The pod where we put you back in community. I'm Evie.
And I'm Emily. And we are so excited to be here today. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Today we are celebrating our 10th episode, which is
Oh my goodness.
That's so insane. We have made it, 10 weeks where you've been hearing
10
us.
straight weeks.
Oh
it's
my
a
gosh.
record.
That's a record. That's such an accomplishment. What the heck? People, and that's not to compare ourselves, but I'm just so grateful. Even before we started, I'm just so grateful that we got the opportunity to start this. And oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's been 10 episodes so far. We've just been talking and getting closer and pouring into each other's lives and pouring out to our friends and family. I'm so grateful because not a lot of people get this opportunity, but I'm so happy to be doing this with you.
Yes, me too. We're throwing up hearts in the air. So excited, so happy. It's our baby's 10th birthday. 10 weeks old. 10 weeks old. Baby. So cute.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. And that's it's so perfect because honestly, today's episode, I'm so excited. Y'all not ready. But
yes,
girl, I'm not ready.
Right. I'm I think how much are we gonna spill today?
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's so perfect that for our 10th episode we talk about something that is it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But let's do it together. So, and that's our mission
Let's
here.
do it.
Let's do it together.
Come on.
So this week's episode, we're going to talk about change and changes in our life and what change means to us and the things that come along with change. Because, again, girl, probably our scariest topic today. And it's just going to get scarier, but it's okay because I think just as our baby is continuing to grow, I think our conversations and our strength. Yes, hello, there you go. It is a change, but I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I literally can't believe we're here.
Too.
Oh,
I can't believe. What happened?
Hi. Hi. What's going on? What's up with you, Evie?
This week. I'm trying to remember what I did. I literally, oh my god, why did I forget what I did this week? I have no recollection of my week.
There you go.
All I know is that today's today and tomorrow's Friday. But I'm literally trying to remember what I did. Oh, I had a great Sunday. Oh, I think Sunday was my favorite day. Even though it wasn't the start of the week, it was the end of our last, where we left off. I just wanted to shout out my friends and our friends. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to May. Shout out to Naj. Little friend brunch. Always just, bring up the mood. And so my week was just...
I think I saw. I was yeah, I remember. That was so cute.
It was so cute. And just a little girl time to heal the soul. So honestly, I think my week was just reminiscing the friendship, the vibe, the moment. And then the rest of it was work. I don't remember anything else. Church, work. But other than that, it was a great week. How was your week? How was life? What's going on?
Oh my gosh. This week has been absolutely insane. I feel like it's been flying by and going so slow at the same time. There's some parts of the day where I'm this day has been going on forever, and then the next second I'm wow, this day this week has been, I don't know, but it's been fast and quick at the same time. So, but really good stuff.
That's good.
Eventful stuff. Hey, changes, which is our topic.
Come on,
today. Happened a lot.
Right.
Of them.
Emily just chopped her hair off, talking about changes. Yeah. Big update, guys.
I was listening to Brutal,
I love it,
by Olivia Rodrigo, and I did it. And she gave me strength and power. And
I love vampires.
And I was okay, yeah. Plug, unplug.
I'm so obsessed.
I'm obsessed with vampire. Are you kidding? Literally this entire weekend, either with my cousin or shout out Chadi. She is an active
Shout
listener,
out.
so shout out to my cousin.
Oh, shout
We
out.
literally on our way home from church, we blasted Olivia Rodrigo. It was so fun. We got a little Starbucks. It was so cute. It was such a moment.
uh,
And then and on Monday at internship, shout out to the intern girlies. We were
shout
screaming
out.
Olivia Rodrigo on the way to get boba. It was such a moment. Are you
I
kidding me?
love that.
Wait, I did so much this week. Holy cow.
You had a better week than
What
me
the
because I
heck?
couldn't even remember mine.
No, it's like coming back
Like,
to
yeah,
me.
I didn't do nothing, but I actually went to Starbucks, jammed, went to the water park, cut my hair off.
I went to a
You
water
had a
park
great
today.
week.
It was so fun. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Great week. Honestly, productive week. I feel like I've lived a whole year in this week. What the heck? This is
I
actually
love
crazy.
that for you.
That's so
I literally love
crazy.
that for you.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh,
But we're here. Which is great.
we made it. We made it, and we're gonna just dive right in to
Yes.
our questions here, because change, ugh, it's so spicy. It's another spicy
I
topic for us, I
know.
think, just because a lot can be attached.
Right.
But do you feel like you react well to change when it comes about, or are you someone that has to you know, kind of get used to things as they go?
I will say that I, in all honesty, I gaslight myself a lot and change.
Mm-hmm.
Just put it plain simple.
Yeah.
I
Come on.
um I think I like thinking that I'm good with change because I don't want to be a bother, but I do hate change. I think
Ugh,
it's like
talk about it.
I try a lot to be optimistic within change, to be like, oh, like whatever it is, transitions, loss, additions, uh, all of it. I think that I always try to find some goodness within it, but it takes
Right.
me a minute to like in my heart be okay with it. And I hold a lot of
Yeah.
it in, but that's just plain and simple. I'm not. I do not
And
react
that's so
well.
true.
Oh my god, what about you?
For me, I think it's the same. I want to react, but my
Mm-hmm.
face is like the
Oh my
front cover of a
gosh.
magazine. Like, what you get is what you
Ah,
get. And if you try to change it and I don't like it, you're gonna read all about it on my face. And that sucks.
yes.
But it's so true. I hate it so much. I hate change a lot. Like, I'm being so honest. Like you said, like it's hard.
Right.
But it you do want to be like obviously encouraging in the moment, especially if change is like with other people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Exactly.
hard to like accept stuff. I think I'm the one that cries about it later. But
Yes.
in the
Okay,
moment
yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Like, oh. And then later I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, I can't believe this happened.
Yes,
um
exactly. That's exactly what happens.
and it's just like after you've done things for a long time, like getting in a new flow and things like that. It's not impossible, but it's uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable.
Yeah, of course.
But that's what it yeah, I don't think I am a great advocate for change. But when if it's for the right, obviously, not everything that we feel like is great and stuff like that, or we're gonna feel passionate about for change. Like sometimes
Right.
I think we only feel passionate when it's stuff that we like, but sometimes it's stuff we don't like that we still have to have passion for, because we have to go through it. It takes a minute. It really just
That's so
takes a
true.
minute for me.
Um, and I think that's just everybody. I think like that's something we can dive into more. But I think with change, um, no one is taught how to react to it, and that's just fundamental truth
Yeah.
right there. You're not, you know, you don't grow up learning or being taught by parents, teachers, just how to react well. Is just something. I was like watching a reel the other day, and it was like one of the biggest lies of humanity is that eventually we know what we're doing. Um, and I think, yeah, I think change goes along with that. Nobody knows how to
Right.
react well to change.
Exactly.
Um, but I think that's why it's better to do it together. Um,
Yes,
but
for sure.
I was wondering, is there any like major change or like shift in your life that you are currently undergoing? What's the tea?
For me, the tea is y'all. Just kidding. I
Really?
think right now, so I haven't even told Emily this, so I'm telling
Slay.
Emily and all of y'all.
Yes,
I'm
announcement.
currently, come on, I'm getting back into therapy. I am literally made an appointment for next
Yay!
week, and I'm really excited, but I'm really nervous.
So
But I know I need
good.
it. So
Amen. That's so good.
we all need it. But I think the change is gonna be, even though it's something that I'm foreign to, it's like trusting a new person, um, reliving those situations again by talking about it,
Exactly.
seeing how I react to talking about the situations this time around. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's like a big change for me right now. It's just like vulnerability again.
Right.
I think it's hard for me to be vulnerable sometimes, especially to a stranger or healthcare professional, um, or
Right.
mental health therapist, whatever, fill in the blank for you. But I think the shift is just going to be prioritizing myself and my needs, like my health needs,
Exactly.
my mental health needs, like my school needs, like everything. I think
Yeah.
before it was like, oh, everybody else, and then maybe me. Like maybe I'll have time for me later.
Mm. Right.
And now I think I'm finally like, no, you need to go to the doctor. Like, no, you need
Exactly.
to make this appointment. So I
Good.
think it's just prioritizing me again and just understanding how that looks like and not being afraid to be alone in whatever the season
Oh,
calls for.
biggest
And that's a big
challenge.
change for me.
Yeah. That's good.
But for you, what is your major life change looking like at the moment? Or
Oh.
if you feel like you're currently undergoing one, if you want to share, I know personally, but
Oh my gosh. I
spill.
think what the heck? Like this is so perfect. Even yesterday my mom kept giving me confirmation. Like we were having a whole talk. And she kept giving
I
me
love that.
confirmation about this like topic. And I was like, okay,
Mm.
God. All right, God. All right, I'm listening. But I think oh my God, do we have like an hour? We do. But
We actually
I'll
do.
say yeah, we actually do. Um post production inside joke. That's so stupid. um, I think one of my biggest changes in my life is exactly this: accepting change itself. Um, well, I can start by kind of describing my week a little bit. I am currently doing a lot of things for the summer. As you know, like I'm working, I'm doing a church internship, which has been so amazing. And like you said, I have put a lot of time in me personally. And I think this weekend and this week in general was such an eye opener to a lot of things that I kind of kept back. And this is where we get a little therapy session, if you will,
Right,
a little
right.
group therapy. Um, over the weekend, I was confronted about some things that I kind of had kept hidden. And we're
Hmm.
gonna have a little podcast of the podcast.
After
It's
the
more
podcast. Right,
intense.
right, right.
But it was something that I had been praying for, but not how I was praying about it. And you know God.
Okay.
He don't care about our
Right.
will because
Or
he
our
knows it
timing.
exactly. He knows that his will is bigger. And
Right.
I was praying for accountability. I'm always praying for accountability and discernment and being able to know myself more. Um, but dang, he kind of slapped me in the face this weekend with it,
Well,
because it was
yeah.
something that I needed to hear, and it's something that I need to be caught on with. Um, but it was also like such like a wow, like I can't believe I let this go on for this long. And it
Well,
wasn't
yeah.
anything like physically bad. It was
Hmm.
emotionally. I was letting myself, even though I admitted that I'm always like, oh, I don't care what anybody says. My whole life for so long has been surrounded around letting people and their opinions dictate me. And one of the
Right.
biggest changes is having to limit so much of my daily life because it became such a big part of my daily life. I was
Yeah.
like, the moment I wake up, texting people, making sure that, you know, obviously reach out, text your friends, but not the wrong people.
Right.
I was keeping people too close that weren't,
Yeah.
and I was pushing people too far that should have been closer. And
Okay.
girl, when I
Yeah.
tell you, it's like a detox. It's like a freaking detox. Um,
Yeah.
does this have to do with my hair? Absolutely. And I'll say it right now. If you need to do something right now, cut
Come
your
on.
hair. This is your sign to do it. Just because do the chop. Do it right. Don't go crazy.
Do
But do
it.
the
Come on.
chop.
Watch a little video first.
Because yes, of course, watch a tutorial. I
Maybe.
didn't. I didn't. But don't follow
It
me.
looks so
Follow
good
my
though.
advice.
It looks so good though.
Don't even. Yeah, right now because it's like curled a little bit. But watch the video. At least two Brad Mondo videos, and then you're good.
At least.
At least.
The least you can
But
do.
I think just because we all need a moment, we all need to take a big moment and reevaluate ourselves. I think throughout the week, I've been taking time away from uh, like my phone and just spending more time actually learning from my mistakes and being able to take my mistakes, which I didn't know that about myself. Well, I knew that, but I didn't admit it to myself until this week. But I actually hate being wrong. Well, who would have thought?
Shocker.
Shocker. Like that was
Shocker.
but it was like,
But
oh
no
my
one likes
god,
being
like
wrong.
exactly. And it was such like a, oh my gosh, like I actually like would rather, like, even in the moment where I'm dead wrong, I'm like, why am I still making excuses? Like, it's okay
Ooh.
to admit you need change. It's okay to be
Yes.
wrong. And that's something that I realized this week. And I and this is to everyone listening, hold me accountable. My friends, hold me accountable, cuz girl, it is hard. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, it's hard, it's difficult because you do want to, keep up an image and
Of
be there for
course.
people. But it is difficult when you find yourself that it's like, I'm asking for more of God, but He's telling me with more, there needs to be a shift. I think
Yes.
that also comes with when we talk about like foundation and
Yes.
how you can't
Mm-hmm.
keep, you can build good things on a bad foundation and it's still a bad house. Let's just put it like
Right.
that. And for me, I feel like I haven't, I've built my faith on Jesus, but I also, on top of Jesus, I've built a lot of bad things. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I'm discovering about myself. And that's not to be, um, I know it could be a little like, oh, like what's going on with her? Like, no, like I'm just being very sincere and very personal.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
that we all have things hidden, and it doesn't have to be something physical or addiction or trauma or nothing like that. It could simply be the fact that we hold our insecurities too high in our list, or that we push people away without even realizing it. It could be things that it could be the skeletons we don't even know are in our closet.
Right.
Like, that's some of the biggest shifts and changes that I have been going through. And I think that's something that it's so crazy that, like, again, this is such a confirmation because I think that um it's weird to see how much of my life has been, you know, surrounded around this need to be liked
Right.
and this need to keep people in my life that don't need to be as close. But yeah, I think one of the major shifts has been that, and also being able to have conversations with my family and people that I need to hear advice from that I usually don't take advice from. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's been a shift all on its own. Like being able to receive, excuse me, feedback and advice from people that
Yeah.
it's hard to listen,
It
but
is.
it's something that needs to be incited. That's been a big major shift. And being able to receive and let go of the notion that I know, because I don't know.
Uh, yes.
And we
I
were literally
remember we talked
talking
about
about
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh my
same.
god, stop. We were literally talking about that. Like you had a conversation with your friend, and I think I had that moment recently too, where it's like I don't know everything, and I think I was not that I wanted to be more knowledgeable, but I think it's easier to, um, have people think that I know more, um, than learn. It is so much easier to pretend than learn, but not everything in life that is good, um, should be easy. So
That
that's
was
one. That's a big
super good.
change already
No,
there.
that was super good, but
Um,
I love that I love that you mentioned like listening to people who you usually don't listen to
mhm.
because it's super and God will make sure that you hear it.
Oh, of course,
Like you mentioned, like
100%.
you were kind of like you didn't have the usual things around you that you do, like whether it be
Mhm.
like your phone or access to people and things like that. So when God makes it intentional for you to hear him out, you have no choice. Like this is like, oh, like you're talking to
Right.
me. Like this is for
Yes. Oh
me.
my god. Distraction
Uh
free for real. Oh my
right.
gosh.
And just like pointing you out, and then you have no choice. Like you have
Right.
no choice, and it's up to you. Like, am I gonna accept the change, or I'm gonna continue? Because I'm gonna be honest. Like I told you, like I'd be hard headed too. I'm like, oh no, but I'm right. Like no one can be.
Yes.
I can never be wrong. But no, like a
Yes.
lot of times we don't know everything, but
Right.
we can't admit that we also have faults, or we don't like
Exactly.
to admit that we can also be imperfect because in it's easy to point and say, oh, this situation's imperfect, this is never going to be perfect, or this person is imperfect, but very rarely do we like circle back and be like, am I the drama? Like,
Am I the
is
true?
it me? Like,
Oh
do I
no.
just not cooperate well? Like, and understand
Oh my
and trying to
gosh.
understand something. But I love that that it's been confirmed to you many times because I think
Mhm.
we ignore the confirmations. Um, but it's so evident that it is a season of change. I think
Right.
every day is obviously an opportunity to change something.
Of
Like you can
course.
stop a habit or start one. Um,
Of
but that
course.
was just so good. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. It's been right here on my chest, but it's something I want to share.
No, of course, of course. I love it so much. We wanted to ask as well, um, why do you think in your life as a believer, God makes a lot of changes? Whether it be like in your personal life, in your walk, or just with the people that he's put in your life, like why do you think or how not only like why do you think, but like how do you react to it? Because obviously there's like not a standard, but maybe like a
Mhm.
way of thinking that us as believers are kind of just like presumed to react to situations like this.
Yeah.
But what would be your take?
I think definitely like you said, like I think we're kind of um expected to take change as in like well to like non-believers as well. It's very easy to be wrapped up in this like perfect Christian dream, and I take everything that God tells me and I accept change
Hmm.
perfectly. When that is the exact opposite, I think. You know
Right.
the meme where it's like,
Yeah.
I give my strongest battles to my strongest soldiers,
So- right.
and
And we're
it's
over here like
that.
dying on tripping over the
E-
stairs and
exactly. And that's it. I think that I think you wouldn't be going through what you're going through if God didn't have a plan for you. And that is, I always say like that's fundamental truth, but that's fundamental truth. If
yeah.
you literally your life would be so your life would be nothing right now if God didn't have a plan for you. Let's just say that. If you're alive
Right.
today, if you're listening to this, and the fact that we're here, sitting here, God has a plan for us. And I think that's
Amen.
fundamental truth. But I also think I was having a conversation recently. Again, another confirmation. Um, oof. Oh my gosh. I was having a conversation on Monday with a couple of pastors, and we were just in the break room, sitting, eating lunch. And I hear, like, I turn around and they were having a conversation with another intern, but they were talking about like the Bible and um, just because we're like prepping some sermons. So that's something also that I
Oh, I
needed to
love
have a change
that.
because I need to focus on that. But yeah, catch. Oh, by the way, plug Culture Night tomorrow or
Come
today.
on.
Culture Night today. You said
Yes,
sorry.
today.
Today, if you wanna come
Today,
out real
tonight.
quick, have a hang, DM us. But I was talking with a couple pastors, and they pointed out how a lot of times in the Bible, the times that God changed somebody's name, he made a big deal of it. Um,
Wow.
Abram to Abraham, Jacob to Isaac, or Jacob to Israel. Um, and I think that's so perfect because God does point it out and make a big deal when there's a change. But something that absolutely wrecked me was that, but do you know that Paul's name never changed?
Mm.
In the Bible, it says Saul, also known as Paul.
Known as Paul. Yeah.
God didn't change his name.
Well.
But I think and that's why when we reference, like, girl, this blew my mind. When I saw from
Yeah,
that
I'm like,
perspective, I was like,
keep
yeah,
going.
because we're always taught, like, oh, like sinner
Saul to Paul.
Saul, Saint Paul.
Yes.
And by the way,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Pastor Paul for telling me this. It's
I
Pastor
love
Paul
that.
that told me this. But he was like, and a lot of times we like to use that as, which is good to always, like how God changes people. But something that absolutely wrecked me was the fact that Paul was always Saul. It was
Yeah.
always something in him. But a lot of times the change that God wants to do in your life is not make you a new person, but bring out
Come on.
someone that was already in you.
Oof.
Someone that was like, you keep pushing them down, someone that has been
Wow.
growing inside you that you don't let out, someone
Yeah, she
that
preaching.
you've been covering over from
Yeah.
insecurities, from needing to please people, someone that you've been hiding in order to be okay with everybody. And I think exactly that as well. The reason why también that he used he used Paulus, which is in Greek Paul, and
Mm.
Saulo, yes, that's his name in that was his real name, Saulo. But he used
Mm.
Paulus when he was going to preach because um the Greeks, they once they heard Paulus, they were like, oh wow, he speaks our language. Like,
Wow.
he is actually invested in our culture and wants to know more about us. And I think that's so perfect because when we talk about being different people and struggling with trying to please everybody, I think that's such a testament that what God wants to use in you is to help others, not to please
Yeah.
others.
Amen.
Because God used Paul and his ability to have different names and be able to preach to different communities. It is because he needed to talk to everybody. And have you read the New Testament? He wasn't trying to be please
Come on.
them. He yelled at them.
Yeah.
He was like, "You're not doing this
Exactly.
right."
He
But they were
corrected
receptive
them.
to it. He corrected them, but they received it because they heard his name, and he didn't
Right.
change who he was. He
Mm-hmm.
almost like contorted himself in order to have better understanding with them. He never
Right.
changed his personality, he never changed his mission, his goal, but he changed his way. And that's
Yep.
why when he
Amen.
was stopped on the way to Damascus, he didn't have he didn't have like a name change. He had a spiritual change, and being
Mm-hmm.
able to not want to please everybody, but remain as he is, Saul and Paul, not
Mm.
sinner and saint, but one person with different ways of ministry. And that for me, I'm that literally like it wrecked my week because I'm like, oh my gosh. A lot of times we do that. We're like, we use, and I know we had talked about it before, like, a lot of times we do have a lot of friends who sometimes, like, who are not Christian or who are Christian. And I think one of God's biggest, I guess, test is, can you be faithful to me even when you're not around people who don't believe in me? And like, can you still be
Yes.
faithful to me when you're faced with insecurities and you're faced with the need
Right.
to be nice to everybody and have everyone like you? So I think God makes those changes to remind us that sometimes he's just bringing out somebody that's already been in you, the power that's already been in you, the calling that's already been in you. um and that's something definitely that and it could even be like something that doesn't need to be there, because I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely been me, like, this week, something that um again, that sometimes we are sometimes living double lives and triple lives and damn, quadruple lives at this point. Because if we're really being honest, like, let me
None
just be
laughs.
here. No, I'm really putting my heart on my sleeve when I say this. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it is so easy because I love hanging out with so many people and I love being loved by a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
but that sometimes God needs to change your situation in order for you to understand that his ministry is and his mission for your life is not just what you define it as, it's what he defines it
Come
as.
on.
And
Amen.
once and I was talking with my mom yesterday, and she said this to me, and she was like, you're like me. And I love my mom so much, and we are basically
I
the same
love you
person.
too.
But she was like,
I'm telling her I love you
yeah,
too. Like when she's
yeah,
listening,
I
I'm
love
like,
you, Mom. I already know. But she was saying how, like, um you have to, like, know yourself, because a lot of times we have tendencies and we have, we want to be liked. That's hello, that's everybody. But knowing yourself and being able to put limits and boundaries, pause
come
this,
on,
listen to the next
my
episode.
friends.
Yes, our friends, and having boundaries, not just in what we allow, but um if we allow the things that we're around to change us. And let's just say this fundamental truth number 47: the people that you are around become you.
Yeah,
That's something that has been dragging me through the mud, but it's true.
yeah,
You
and vice
can't.
versa.
Yes, exactly, vice versa. um but yeah, girl, that's been something that has been, like, beating in my heart. But also know that God does have something planned for you and everyone listening. Um, but some of those things, it needs a change. It needs sometimes
Yeah,
that
for sure.
separation, sometimes that's addition, whatever it is. It is because you have a ministry and you have a calling that either, it's something inside you that needs to get in, or something inside you that needs to be put out. So, what about you? What do you think
Oof.
in your
Emily
life?
was, girl, Emily was preaching. Emily was dropping the
Oh
whole
my
sermon.
gosh. I
I'm gonna
know.
go pass the baton. If you ain't
Oh my
preaching at the next
gosh.
culture night, what you doing? Like,
I'm
no.
done.
I love
Stop.
you so much.
Enough.
No,
Enough.
but
Enough.
that blew my mind. That was so good. I was literally like grinning the whole time. I was like, "Oh, this is so like food for the soul right now. Like I'm eating this up, like literally."
Yum.
Um, so yum, so delicious, delicious knowledge. But no, that was perfect. I literally remember, like having a whole like thing about that, like from Saul to Paul, like a whole thing written out a while back, like a lot of years ago. Because I was like, dang, like God, the way that you change, this person, you can change this person, in my
Mhm.
life. But just like you mentioned, it's something that's already within.
Yeah.
So I thought that was super good. And I think for me, um, just there's always, I know changes is kind of like inedible. Inedible. Oh, wow, I can't talk.
Inevitable. Yeah, 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 yeah. You got it. You got
Inevitable.
it.
I'm like, inedible?
Inevitable. Well, yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Inevitable. Inedible.
Yeah,
No,
sometimes changes
but
can be, it's hard to digest. Yeah.
yeah, come on.
There you go.
So good. I hate us. um, but it's just
So silly.
no. I'm having the giggles right now. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
inevitable. Literally, I can't. It's just always gonna be occurring. It's always gonna be around us. There's not a moment where nothing is not changing, where something is not changing.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
and it's so frustrating. Like as someone who likes to micromanage, it could be super frustrating.
Yeah.
But like you said, and what I always think, like I know it's like a cliche or like, oh, like God won't give you like God only gives you what you can handle, like or that type of stuff. Um
Mhm.
and to a certain extent, like yeah, like obviously you can handle any situation. It's just how you go about the change. But
Exactly.
it's hard when you're going through that change in that moment, in that shift, in that phase of your life. Um, I think that, like you mentioned, it's something that low key resides in all of us. It's just how we go about it, and how long are we going to ignore the voice that tells us like it's time to do this, it's time to let
Exactly.
go, it's time to change, it's time to whatever that voice is telling you, or your heart is telling you, or God is telling you, because it's only so long that we stop it until we ignore it. Like it can only go for so long. Like
Right. Exactly.
how long are you willing to continue in your old ways before you like finally give in and be like, okay, this is enough. Like I
Yeah.
don't need to hang out with this person, or I don't need this
Hmm.
addiction, or this isn't for me anymore, or I do
Exactly.
need help. I do need someone to assist me. I don't know it all. Um, so I think it's constantly a test. If I can be honest, like it's just it's a trial to see like, are you going to keep going in the race? Like you can, obviously you can do it. You made it this far. I saw a post today. I've seen it before, but my friend sent it to me today before we started the podcast. And it was like, shout out to John. It was like a
Hmm.
reel, and it was of a sound. It was like, oh, we did it. Like, I'm so, like, it was like a we did it sound. And it was like, wow, I never thought me, like, happy to live another day because I never thought it, like, I could make it this far. And
Mm.
it's so true. Like, I think, obviously in past situations or moments, we really don't think that it's possible to make it through something, or that we can change a situation, or that a change is going to overtake us. But it's like we did it. Like we're here, we're getting going through it, and we're getting through it. And yeah, I think it's just that like it's a constant like heart check.
Right.
um
100%. I love that.
so that's what I think. And yeah, that's literally just what I felt. And I think you said it all when you mentioned that what lives in us, and how that can be reflected, and how it's always started with us, and how that just morphs on to later. But just
Mm.
to wrap up, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to those struggling to make changes in their lives, or as maybe as someone that's going through change now?
Um, 100%. I think the biggest piece of advice I could give is straight from God. Um, is a verse in Second Corinthians 5:7. Let me find it here so I don't misquote
Yeah,
it.
you can.
Alright. It says, Second Corinthians, excuse me, 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here. Um, and I think just to reiterate what we were saying, like the old doesn't and the new doesn't need to be something, out of the ordinary. A lot of times it lies within us. That change that we need is we're already within us because Christ is already within us.
Come
And
on, yeah.
like it says, the new creation has come. So once Christ has entered your heart, sorry to break it to you, you're never going to stop changing. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
why it everything, God is so perfect because he's not only patient, but he's so perfect with his timing. Because if we got a change overnight, we wouldn't accept it. But if he slowly and
Mm.
meticulously plans every step so we change more and more each day, we have a reminder of his consistency, of his place, because he is here, he is present. Um,
Right.
but the new creation is already within you. If you have
Yeah.
taken the step to accept Jesus Christ as your savior, you're never going to stop growing because the new creation is coming out. And sometimes
Amen.
it's a very easy change. Maybe one day you wake up and exactly, it's a change to your hair. But maybe the next day it's cutting off your bestest friends. And
Well,
that's something that is a heavy, heavy change. But like it said, Christ is whatever is already within you. So you have the
right.
strength of the creator, the love of the creator, and the ability of the creator to
Amen.
continue on with the change. Um, so yeah, never feel like you're not strong enough. Never feel like um, you can't survive this, because you can. Because exactly like you said, Evie, like a lot of times we say like, um, oh, God won't give you anything you can't handle, because honestly, you're not handling it. Christ is within you. He's doing it. He's already doing
Exactly.
it. So yeah, biggest piece of advice: have peace, um, be calm, because and just go with it. Honestly, go with it because God knows
Yeah.
more than us. Um, and it's very easy, like Evie said, like we micromanage. We're micromanagers. Um, but God knows it all, and so that would be my biggest piece of truth. What about you, Evie? What's your piece on those struggling with change?
I think what you said was perfect. Just that Christ is handling everything.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times, and just like examples, and the scripture use was perfect. Like we're renewed, like we're new
Yeah,
creations. Like, and the first thing that popped into my mind, obviously, would change, and it's a like typical term, like typical example, but like a butterfly, like caterpillar, like that stages, the changes it has to go through into something beautiful. Like, who would have thought? Like looking
mm-hmm.
at this little worm that's going to turn into this beautiful like winged like art piece that just is so
Yeah,
colorful, so amazing. Flowers, like how they start off in dirt, like in rough places, like they
yeah,
grow in rough places, and they like emulate and they follow the sun and they just
right.
rise. And I love that, and that's why I love the sunflower so much, because it
Yes.
follows the sun and all that. But it just, I was like, well, it has to go through this process, and we all have to go through
Right.
this process. But how are you going through your process? How are you emulating change? How are you letting it affect you? Are you letting the water of the storm take you down while you're
Mm.
growing, or are you continuing to look up and look forward and just
That's so good.
grow? So my advice would just be to keep looking up. Um,
So good.
to don't be afraid to grow and to make those changes as needed. It's painful growth. It's painful
Yes, of
growth. Even
course.
when you're growing,
Growing
you have growing
pains.
pains. Like,
Yeah.
exactly. And those growing pains are not for the weak. But you remain strong and we can do all things. And honestly, this episode was so needed and good. And I'm excited to see how this
Yeah.
season just plays out for the both of us.
And I want to like reiterate something really, really quickly. I was
Yeah.
literally writing earlier, um, something, just a little poetry, which we're back on. Sorry.
Oof. Yes.
But I love how you mentioned that about like the sunflower, because I think one thing that came to my mind was like, even if you cut the wings off a butterfly, it doesn't turn back into a caterpillar. And I think
Well,
when we
yeah.
see growth and change, um, just because you gotta cut some things off doesn't make you not something that you're supposed to be. And so with the
Mm-hmm.
sunflower, keep growing, keep looking up, and like a butterfly, you're never gonna stop being who God wants you to be. Um,
I love that so much.
so Yeah, girl, this was so good. I loved it. I'm
I
so
loved it
grateful for
too.
you. I'm so grateful for conversations because
Oh, I love
I
you.
needed
I love you.
this.
Don't make me cry.
No, I love you. Oh my god, so good, so good.
Ugh.
But oh my god, guys. Hey,
That
so
was our
glad.
10th
I hope you made it.
episode.
I know. I hope you made it to your destination. Hope
Right.
you enjoy. Make
Oh,
sure
we enjoyed so much.
to okay, yeah. Make sure to follow us on Yes You Pod socials. Um, if
Listen,
you don't
listen,
know,
listen.
yeah. If you don't know, it's TikTok at Yes You Pod, Instagram at Yes You Pod, Spotify at Yes You Pod, Apple Music Podcasts at Yes You Pod, and YouTube at Yes You Pod. You literally
Come
can't
on.
miss it. Just search up at Yes You Pod, all one word. Do it right now. Yeah, run. Even if you're following, unfollow and follow again. There you go.
No,
Don't
don't
leave it.
follow
Don't leave it.
that.
Yeah, don't leave it unfollowed. There
Share,
you go.
rate it. Read it,
Yes.
share it, comment what you want to see next, and share with a friend that
Yes.
needs to make some changes. And if you guys are in a
Oh,
that change, comment down below what that looks like for you. We want to know
yes.
about your experience as well.
Yes, of course. But we love you guys. Oh
We
my
love you.
God.
We'll see you next week. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.